Cause I don't know the answer right now. I know that I want you right here with me with the top down. I was thinking we could run away for a couple days. Don't fall asleep, let's stay awake. Don't got no time to
Alright, that was Roses from the Moon, Take Me to Your Love. I really like that song. That's some Polynesian brothers from back home, actually.
It's a very nice song.
Who are also both Hawaiian and Polynesian. If you check them out on Spotify. Now, welcome back to Creative Talk Podcast. My name is Kebrasca King.
And I'm Amber King.
And tonight we are super excited to bring to you another special guest that we are looking at doing this year for 2025, is interviewing some of the people that have actually helped us along our healing journey. And tonight I'm very excited to be bringing on board a special guest, Charles Lowres. Now, Charles is actually the owner of Amanti Moon. He's a practitioner in QHHT. He also does energy healing, as well as a whole bunch of stuff to do with tarot and lots more. We've known Charles for a couple years, and we're super grateful to have him with us this evening. And we're looking forward to asking him some more questions around his world of everything to do with QHHT and his business and everything else. So welcome to the show, Charles.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Now, Charles, first and foremost, we've been super privileged to be able to spend some time with you within the space, and we'll be going through some questions tonight for you. But how was the traffic to get home tonight, and how have you found this evening, just getting ready for this evening?
I've been really excited. And as I mentioned, I spoke to Ganesh before I left work in Port Melbourne. It's like, Ganesh, I don't care what happens today. Clear the path, mate. Clear the path. Get me home in time so that we can. And he did. It was only like a few minutes. I think I got home within 10 minutes up my sleeve. It's like, what's going on? I love this game. So it's been a good day. It's been a really good day. And I've got a lot of energy. So there's a lot I want to share with your viewers.
Oh, thank you so much, Charles. We're super excited. And once again, thank you so much for having the time, being available for us. And we'll kick into it and ask some questions around what it is that you actually do and all the things you do. As we go through, you might hear some questions that come through from our viewers as well. Jordan, welcome to the show this evening. We're very well, thank you, my friend. Thanks for tuning in. Great to have you here on YouTube. Amber, do you want to ask the first question to Charles?
Sure, let's kick into it. So, Charles, what was the spark that led to the creation of Amanti Moon? Was it a personal awakening or something you always felt brewing?
A really good question. I had a bit of an epiphany. So go back in time, 2006, my father passed away, and that sat with me that when we cross over, what actually happens to us? It's the case of you can't just be lying in a box somewhere and that's it, game over, that's it, you're done. So then a few years later, I just thought, I've got to investigate what happens. Where do you go? What do you do? What happens to your energy? So I found a little class that was online on a Facebook page. And the universe said, trust it, just call this woman and see what happens. And the one element that she talked about was past lifetimes. And I thought,
wow.
That's my calling, that's my cue. So I called this woman and I said, I'm going to be the worst student ever, but I really want to do your class. Is that a possibility? And she goes, do you have any spiritual wisdom? I said, zero, nothing. You've got a complete newbie. And she goes, yeah, let's do it. So I went and proceeded to do a 7-week, 2 hours a week class.
Wow.
And it opened me up to energy. It opened me up to being able to read energy. The first night I did it, the girls that I was in the class who said, Charles, I think you're going to be the first person to fail this class.
Oh, no.
What?
Like, yeah. me, I can set records. But it was just, I was so nervous. And when you get nervous and you're trying to do spiritual work, you're blocking yourself.
True, very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that, though, I really calmed myself down, and that was the opening of Pandora's box. And once you open that box, you really can't pop the lid back on.
No,
So
true. Yes.
I just kept exploring. It's like, and I was like a child. It's like, give me the knowledge, give me the wisdom, let's go. And that's how I started. It was just a thought, and it's like, where did that thought lead me down the rabbit holes? And I'm eternally grateful it did.
And Charles, have you found over the years that as you've done modality after modality, that you really uncover more and more about yourself and your gifts and your healing? Whereas like at the beginning, maybe not so much, it's very brand new, but as you go through the different spaces, did you find that unfolded for you in different ways?
Certainly. I found that after I did different things, I'd go back to my childhood, my thinking as I was as a child. It's like, oh, I understand what I was thinking as a child, because as a child I was thinking all these different things. Like time for me never went this way, it always went this way. So it's always happening simultaneously, but I never understood why I thought that way, and everybody else is thinking this way and I'm thinking this way. And I read a book, and it's like, oh my goodness gracious me, Dr. Michael Newton, the psychiatrist, he understands me. And so that really set it off. And then I'd study Reiki and Seikhem and Palawa, and you just bring other aspects of yourself home. So when I studied Palawa, I had no idea what I was doing. And this was day one, level one. And the teacher says to me, Charles, have you done this before? I said, no, not at all. He goes, because you're doing level 3 work already.
Wow.
Oh, so he says, you're just reawakening the wisdom that already sits inside your soul, and you're bringing that into your everyday life. It's like, yes, let's do this. So that's what I found has been happening. It's been, oh, I've been thinking about that, or I'm doing actions in my normal healing. Then I'll go and learn the next modality. It's like, that's what those actions are.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's reawakening stuff that we already know. And that's the key for me. And I'm the type of person that if I learn something, I'm going to do it 3 or 4 years before I take it up to the next notch. I really want to understand it and get the mechanics behind it, work out why it works, how it works. And then I think, now I can do the next level in that, and then see how it goes.
Yeah, we're exactly the same. When we committed to our journeys, both of us separately at different times, once we started going into tarot, for example, we really went into tarot for like 4 or 5 years before we did any public readings, before we did anything else, just to understand all the little bits and pieces that really make it resonate with ourselves first. And it was super, super beneficial for our journey that I think is, we still keep that today, to be honest. We love that. It really
is, because you're consolidating everything that you know and integrating it all, so that gives you the confidence to get in and go and do it professionally, and then off you go.
Now, you also own and operate a business with your partner called Amanti Moon, and that's been going for some time now. I think it's 10 years that you guys have celebrated, or more than 10 years. Wow, congratulations. Now what is that name about? That name Amanti Moon sounds extremely magical, so I want to know a bit more about where that came from and how that came to be.
It was hard work. To find a business name was such hard work, because it's like, I don't want to be like something chakra. I don't want to be energy healer. I don't want to be Joe Blogs Reiki or whatever it was. And it took us a really long time to work out, what are we going to call the business? And then we actually went to my sister's for lunch and said, right, we're going to have a brainstorming situation, like a few hours. We're throwing all these names in and all of this sort of stuff. And we drove home very disenchanted because nothing happened. We didn't come to any. His partner's spirit guide is Yellow Moon. And I thought, well, Amanti Yellow Moon doesn't really sound that crash hot, really, does it? I said, but what if we just drop the yellow and we go Amanti Moon?
Wow.
And as soon as we said it, and as soon as my business partner heard it, he thought about it, he goes, that's exactly what we're going to call it, Amanti Moon. And that's what it became. And that's how we got the business name. And once we got it, we registered it straight away, because everything was free, the website, all of it.
Of course.
So we registered, and it stuck. And at that time, I didn't know the moon was so relevant in the spiritual world, and it was just a case of, it had no meaning in that respect, but now it does, and it's just like, wow. So that's how we got the name Kebrasca. It was a really interesting concept.
That's incredible. I knew it had a special meaning, especially knowing yourself. I knew there was a deeper meaning to that side of things, so thank you for sharing that.
Depth to it. And we wanted wanted to bring spirituality to the masses at a much more affordable way. And that was our intention with starting the business, to make it more affordable for people. So, yeah, that's what we tried to do. That's how we set it up 10 years ago.
And we've got an interesting story, Charles, about the first time we actually bumped into you was way before we started talking at Crystal Universe and those types of places. We happened to go and find your stall at
the Crown,
near the Crown, and there was a festival on,
and
we got our first Oracle card.
Was from you.
Yeah.
We remembered.
How did you remember that?
Because we saw the Oracle set, which we still have, and it's a American Indian faces on the cover of it.
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful Oracle deck, which we used for many, many years, to be honest. And it was that deck that was my very first one. And I think you bought another one because you've done it before.
Yeah, I did. I bought a Alexander King one, which is like animals and like nature. And then I remember you as the person on the stall.
Because you sold it to us.
You sold it to us.
You actually sold that first deck to us.
And that was way before Kebrasca was into
Way
any
before.
of that.
To do. See, we got an opportunity. We got an opportunity to be at Crown Casino at the market to fill a void because they couldn't get stall holders. They were short half a dozen.
Right.
And the lady reached out to us and said, look, I'll give it to you for 50% off if you want to do it. And it was like, but it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 10 a.m. till 10 p.m.
Wow.
You bump in Thursday night at 10 p.m. and you don't bump out till midnight Sunday night. Are you interested? It's like, of course we are. Let's make it happen. Crown Casino's got a lot of foot traffic. And it's amazing when you do the markets. You connect with people at very different levels of their spiritual journey. And we like to talk to people. We don't try and sell anything on anyone they don't need or anything they don't need. So it was nice to have conversations with people. And that was a really interesting place because I get a lot of homeless people that would talk to us and all of that sort of stuff. And you just make connections, and that's why markets are really good. So that's why we did it. So there you go. How interesting is that? It was before where I work now.
Yeah.
That we made it Crown Casino.
Yes. So funny. Melbourne is a small place.
It really is.
Yeah, the world is a small place. All right. So my next question. You practice several modalities, which you've kind of touched on already, including QHHT. Wondering if you could explain a bit more about that. What does the QHHT stand for? What happens during a session? Both Kebrasca and I have had a session with you. So yeah, it'd be awesome to hear more about it.
So QHHT was developed by a magical woman who's now passed. Her name was Dolores Cannon. She's a fully trained hypnotist. What she discovered, she could hypnotize people to go back into past lifetimes. And that's my passion. Past lifetimes are my passion, discovering who we are, why we are, but also why we have fears and phobias. So I thought, there's something to this technique. I need to go and explore it more. And I was at a real crossroads in my life at that point in time. I was either going to become a travel agent or follow my spiritual path really seriously. And the funniest thing was I couldn't get onto the website to book this travel agency class. So I thought, okay, well, let me try the QHHT website. Got on, took my money straight away. It's like, thank you, universe. So what QHHT is, it's a hypnotic, you go on a hypnotic regression. And it's a long session. It's a minimum of, I would say, 5 to 6 hours. And what we talk about with our clients is we have a bit of a discussion at the start and just to work out where they're at in their journey of life, what they're going through, what traumas they might have gone through.
Right.
And we do that for a particular reason to try and help the customers pinpoint if they've had a trauma, what was their emotional state like at the same time, to see if they can marry it together. So we have a discussion, we build some trust. Then what we then do is we leave the left brain behind and we take you on a hypnotic journey and bring you into the right brain. Because in your right-hand side of your brain, or in the right brain, is your creative side. But this is where you've stored all of your past lifetimes, all of the images and memories that you have from other worlds, okay? So we get you into a nice, calm place. Dolores was always fastidious about, you've got to do it on a double bed, queen size bed, because people will thrash around and move.
I know, I do.
Experience?
Did you?
Yeah, I do.
So we do it on a queen size bed here. You get covered with a doona, and then I'll start an induction. So the induction usually takes between 12 to 20 minutes, depending on the person. And what that does is it gets them into a nice hypnotic trance. Now, people say to me all the time, I've never been hypnotized. But in fact, we're hypnotized every part of our life. We watch TV, we're in a hypnotic trance. We read a book, we're in a hypnotic trance. We wake up, we're sleeping, we're in a hypnotic trance. What we try and do as QHHT practitioners is get you to a nice deep level so that you're still present with us and you're nice and relaxed, but you're allowing these images and memories to come out. Now, during this session, I don't guide the session. I'm purely holding space for the session. My customers, as you would have experienced, your higher self is in control of the session. So your higher self will show you, Kebrasca or Amber, this is what you need to see. These are lifetimes that are relevant for you to see now, because you might be faced with some challenges at this point in time. And you've had these experiences before. You've had these lessons before. So you show them these lifetimes. You take them to their death in that lifetime so they can always work out how they passed. Now, that's really important in this day and age, because sometimes you might have been hit on the head and you suffer from migraines. So you can correlate the two. When you correlate it, you can release it. I've had people that have been shot in the head. I've had people that have drowned. So those people would have fear of water or migraines, things like that. Now, you do that part of the hypnosis for about 90 minutes, depending on the client. And what that does is it takes them into a nice, deep hypnotic trance. And then what you do is you will say to your clients, now we're going to bring in your higher self so that you get a conversation with your higher self. So we bring in the higher self. We would have already, through the discussion, worked out for the client, bring in a dozen or so questions that they want answered by the higher self.
Yes.
So we bring in the higher self, and you can actually feel the energy into the room. You can feel your customers' vibration changes, their voice changes, and the higher self will come in. And I've always got to ask for permission to ask questions and get answers and pass that on. And then we'll go through a list of questions that the client wants asked, and it could be, why do I feel compelled to be in a relationship with this person all the time? Why can't I let them go? Or I'm suffering with these phobias or fears. I had one lady, she come and ask me, my son is always bedwetting, he's 10, how do we fix that? And the higher self will then bring in the wisdom. So we can have surrogates, you can do it for other people. And when that comes in, oh my goodness gracious me, the energetic rush is intense. The customers sometimes feel the energy flowing through them. And it's like, Charles, I'm getting really warm and tingly. He's like, good, just go with it. And then we ask the questions. And then we'll do a body scan. So the higher self will then overlook the person's body. So Dolores used to just do one body scan.
Yes.
Over my time, I've broken it down into physical bodies, emotional bodies, mental bodies, white light bodies, all of those things, because they can all have issues. And then the body scan will go through. The higher self will say, there's a problem with that person's heart. There's a problem with that person's ear. And I'll say to the higher self, I need you to fix that now. Can you do that? Yes. And they'll do it. I had one lady on the table. It was a practice session. And I nearly wet my pants because the higher self said, Charles, this lady's got blockages in her neck. It's like, okay. And she'd actually had surgery on her neck because she'd stored a lot of emotional issues in her neck. And they said, okay, we're going to clear this for her because she's dealt with the emotions. This is just remnants that we can actually clear. And seriously, because I record all of the sessions, you can hear the vertebrae going click, 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 click.
Oh my goodness.
They're doing like a chiropractic alignment. She's on the bed. I'm sitting next to her in a chair. And then the higher self says to me, when she comes out of hypnosis, she'll say, what have you done? She'll go like this with her neck and she'll say, oh my goodness gracious me, I've never been able to move my neck for a long time. How did that happen?
Wow.
And that's exactly what happened.
Wow.
Brought her out of the hypnotic trance and she's gone, oh my goodness gracious me, this feels amazing. How did you do that? And that's the higher self at a quantum level saying, we can fix this. If your clients believe, they can fix it. So QHHT stands for Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. There's a lot of energy. It is recorded so that the customers can re-listen to it. Now, Dolores does that particularly. She had a lovely customer who had stage 4 cancer. And the doctors at that point in time said to her, there's nothing more we can do. So Dolores, she was a very feisty woman and she goes, you can't tell me what to do. She did a QHHT session on this woman and she said to the woman, now I want you to take this and listen to the session because the higher self will offer the start of the healing. So this woman was really smart and she put the recording onto an MP3 player and pop their headphones under her pillow every night. So while she's sleeping, she's getting the subconscious listening to the higher self saying, oh, we're offering the healing. I'm offering the healing. I'm offering the healing. And she then cured herself of stage 4 cancer through the energetic flow. Wow. She then became a QHHT practitioner because of her experience. So the magic of QHHT, I'm getting goosebumps as I talk about it. The magic is it helps you understand who you are, why you feel the way you feel, why you have certain phobias, why you're attracted to certain people. It can help you with healing anything that's going on in your body as long as it's not karmic. If you're doing something, so if you've poked somebody's eyes out in another lifetime and you're really suffering with cataracts in this lifetime, or you've got blindness, it won't heal that for you because you need to understand the trauma inflicted on another. You have to experience that for yourself. Wow. So if it's karmic, we can't change it. Yep. If it's not karmic and it's emotional, we'll go through it and fix it.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's
passion. I have such passion for this. Yeah. And the passion it's a very structured modality. So when you start level 1, and level 1 when I did it was only offered online, and it was 40 hours of videos. Yeah. You had to pass the test. You had to get like 100%. You had an exam at the end. So I did it all, and I was like a sponge, just like, give me more, give me more, give me more. And I did it, and I was so passionate about this. And then once you've completed your certificate, you're not considered a practitioner. You're an intern. You had to then do for free 25 free sessions. Yeah. Gotcha. That was to get your confidence up. That was to get you experience in induction, having conversations with people. And trust me, at that point, I used to struggle with, 2 in 5 people wouldn't go into hypnosis. And that was testing my mind. How can I do this differently? How can I make it work differently? So you had to do 25 sessions for free and document them, send them off to America. Once you'd sent them off to America, they would go through all of your material, and then they would update on their website, you're now a level 1 practitioner. Wow. Once you got to level 1 practitioner, you could then go and apply to go and do level 2. So I'd studied this in October 2016, and by March 2017, I was flying over to Manchester in England to do level 2 with a class of 10 with Julia Cannon, the daughter of Dolores. And that just took it up a notch. It was taking it to the next level.
What was it for you, Charles, that made QHHT so special for you to want to put that much effort into the modality and learn more and really become, a practitioner of many years? What was it that drew you to that modality specifically when you first experienced it?
It was my passion for wanting to know more, realizing that this existence as Charles is only playing out on this dimension, but there is so much more playing out on other dimensions. And as I was doing more and more, like when I started, I was getting, people that were having past lifetimes in England in the 60s, people that were doing other things, and that was great. When I did level 2, it took it up a notch. And then I was getting people that were having lifetimes as whales or galactic beings or on other energy. They were energy in space because my mind was now open. It wasn't like this big. It was opening to bigger possibilities and realities. And for me, I have such passion. When that higher self comes in, I feel the energy because I'm connected. I log in before a client. I'm connected and I just feel this energetic rush in the room. But then what comes straight after that is this immense amount of love in the room. And that when you feel that love, you never want to let it go. It's the purest love you could ever feel, and it's amazing. So I get an energetic hit when I play with QHHT and I take these amazing journeys with people. And then I just see this love for the people that are lying in front of me. And I can't describe how that feels because it's nothing that's on this level. Does that make sense? On this plane.
Yes, it does.
Nothing on this human level can explain that universal source love.
It's so true. It's so true. And when they talk to you, because they're talking to you, and I just feel this reverence for you. They understand that you're on this 3D plane. Life is difficult for a lot of people, and the experiences can be quite challenging. And they're just saying, yep, she's doing the best she can. She needs to understand she's strong. She's got love. Or he's doing the most amazing thing. He's just about to get to where he needs to go. Please keep going. You're doing it. We're doing it with you. You're not alone. And that's what I think I love about it the most.
Is there a particular experience that you've had with a client through QHHT that it's just one that you'll never forget?
Yeah. I started a QHHT session. It's actually on the day I booked them in when I've got the house to myself, because that's one of the prerequisites is you have to be in a space where there's nobody else,
Right.
so that my client can talk freely without feeling like they're going to be judged. So I always like to try and start my sessions at 9:30 in the morning. And it's like, 9:35, she's not here. 9:45, she's not here. I'm sending her a text message. Where are you? And no replies. At 10 past 10, I got a text message. Aren't you at the healing center? I've driven to the healing center. It's like, no, sweetie. I do them from home. So she goes, all right, I'm on my way. Okay, so 9:30 start. What time does she arrive? 11:11.
Oh,
Okay?
wow.
So that was the start.
11:11. So I said to her, that's fine. Let's do this. I'm ready as long as you're here and willing. So I made her a cup of tea so she could calm right down. And then I think we had a 3 or 4 hour discussion on the couch before we actually did the hypnosis. Started the session, and it was the first time I've ever had an entity attachment come through first.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
And it's like, oh, what's happening here? What's going on here? So anyway, Dolores didn't really entertain the thought of entities or
Yes.
attachments,
Yeah.
because she just she made a clever contemplation that it's an aspect of you that had suffered, so we can deal with that. So when I did level 2, all of the girls, because I was the only guy in the class, all of the girls in the class had already had attachments that they had to deal with. So they had given me techniques, and it's like, great, okay, let's go. So I said to this entity, who are you? Talk to me. I'm ready to listen to you because you want to be heard. That's why you're here. You haven't been heard in this plane. Tell us who you are. So they were telling me, we were talking, and then I said, okay, I can feel your pain. Let me and this beautiful client send you unconditional love. So we just sent this beautiful energy, unconditional love, and that was enough for the energy to go, thank you for listening to me. I'm no longer angry. I'm going to go now. And it left.
Wow, just like that.
Okay, so that's fine. So then I thought, let's go. Let's start the past lives now. Let's do this. And then all of a sudden it's like, go back to a time, and she couldn't find a past lifetime. And it's like, geez, universe, you're really testing me today. But I love being tested because I've got to find different ways in, different ways around. So you're testing me. So anyway, I thought, okay, well, you can play this game. If you're not going to show me a past lifetime, I'm going to see if the higher self just wants to come straight in. So I did the induction to the higher self. Lo and behold, the higher self comes straight in. And it's like, okay, what's going on here? I said to the higher self, what's happening here? Why haven't you shown me a past lifetime of hers? Because that's normally how we start. You've thrown my sequence. What's going on? And she said, the higher self said to me, okay, so just make sure you're sitting down, but this one hasn't had any past lifetimes. Okay, so what are you trying to tell me? Is this her first incarnation on the planet? Yes, but she comes from the future. She's actually come back in time to help this planet evolve to a much higher level. So she's struggling in this lifetime quite considerably because this is her first incarnation on this 3D planet, because she's come from a time where the density is not there.
Right.
She comes from a place where it's all love and you don't have to talk, it's telepathic. And I've just gone, oh, okay. How do we do this? So I'm guided by my higher self and the client's higher self.
Yes.
And it was the most phenomenal session of my life. It was 9.5 hours in total from start to finish.
Oh my goodness.
And with Dolores' amazing training and the structure, after 2 hours, you've got to say to the higher self, can this person sustain lying down any longer?
Yeah.
And I did that at the 2 hour mark. I said to this person's higher self, can you check in with this person's body and just make sure that, oh yeah, she's fine. We could be here 4 or 5 hours. He really needed this. And I said, well, how did she find me? How did she find me out of all of the QHHT practitioners? How did she find me? Your energy matches hers. It's like you have a beacon
heck.
and they can find you.
Yeah, right.
And I said, oh, okay. I could have run a marathon. After the 9.5 hours, I had so much energy, seriously. I couldn't sleep. I don't take drugs, but I could imagine this is what drug taking must have felt like. Because it's like I was bouncing off the wall. I messaged my friend and one of the colleagues I did level 2 with in Dubai. This is what's just happened. She goes, oh my God. I had so much energy for like 2 days that on the third day, I just dropped. My energy just fell apart. And I was like, whoa. My client was so gracious and said to me, can I ask you a favor? I said, of course you can. She goes, can you type up this manuscript of the recording? It was 73 pages. Can you type it up and send it to the academy? Because they've never had anything like this and they need to know that this exists. So I did, and I never heard back. But it was really interesting. It was such an interesting experience because I had it. But then when you go back to somebody digging potatoes in a cornfield in Idaho, how do you match what you've just had to going back to like an everyday life? And I have adjusted back into it, but you get teased because you had this amazing experience. It's like, I've got to go back to Mary Jane getting her head cut off in France or something like that. How do I deal with that? But that was an amazing session. And it showed me what we can actually achieve by putting somebody in a hypnotic trance and going for it. And people say to me all the time, do you believe it? Do you believe that somebody's higher self can come through? There are techniques that we are trained with to listen for and hear and visualize that I believe at 100% implicitly. Because you know when the ego comes in, because the words change, the language changes, the voice changes, the way they speak about the client. So it's very interesting. So undoubtedly did I have the most amazing 3.5 hours of my life where they're fixing this woman's body, rewiring her brain, all of this sort of stuff. And at one point they said to me, we need you to help take some energy out of her. And I've gone, hold on a minute. Dolores said we don't touch, we don't do anything like that. And they said, yeah, but we need help. So just put your hands over her chakra. And I said, okay, that's fine. Can you feel it? It's like, yep. And it's really sluggish. She goes, yep, you can feel it. Good. And she said, and she stopped. And she said, hold on a minute. You can't do this in your energetic body, in your physical body, because it's going to be too much for you to have to deal with. She goes, I need you to call in your team and her spiritual team so that we can do that for her. And then half an hour later, she says, put your hand over the chakra again. And it was different. And it was lighter. She goes, there you go. Your team and my team and her team helped us achieve that. And I was like, yeah. So I've been blessed with some amazing experiences. I even had a lady, just very quickly, I had a lady that did it and she believed in this process so passionately. And she was drawing flowers after the session because she could remember that she found me at a Catholic school market the following week. Oh my God, Charles, I found myself in history. I found my real, you told me I was a male botanist in England at these times. I found exactly who I was.
Are you serious?
My God.
That's incredible.
So that validates for me that what we're doing has relevance and it's truthful. And this is the future of healing because it's all up here. It's all here.
The conscious
energy, yes. Energy is definitely in flow. But this, I asked the higher self of one of my clients, is this the future? Yes, this is the future. Keep going with this.
Wow. So, Charles, just going back to that epic session that you had with the lady that was the first time in this incarnation, after she left that session, do you know if, she had a big job. She had a big task if she's going to be here to heal humanity, did she undertake those things? Does she know that she's got this big job?
She's a different person. She's a very different person. We keep in touch. Because that for me was such a special experience. So I said to her, keep in touch, and if you need anything, I'm always there. So every now and then, and it's not often, but every 6 months, 12 months, we'll just text each other, how you going, how you going? She's really adjusted in her life. So there was a toxic person in her lifetime that she was able to then disconnect from.
Wow.
That's a whole session on itself. But it was amazing that she had the power, and she actually said to me, I feel re-energized. I feel empowered. I feel like parts of me were missing, but now I feel complete again, and I can go and do what I need to do. It's very special.
Does she work in the healing space, or is she like something like a school teacher or an office worker?
Off the top of my head, I can't even remember what she did because this happened. I met her where I used to work at a healing center, and I gave her an energetic, a clairvoyant healing first. Yeah. And she goes, and see the coincidences that you can't make it up. She goes, I'm just about to do my QHHT exam, level 1. I said, stop it. I did it 12 months ago. Really? We talked about it. She goes, I'm going to come and see you. So then after I did level 2, she came and see me, and wow, it was phenomenal. But the thing is, what we have to realize as human beings is people always ask me, what is my purpose?
Yeah.
But your purpose in lifetimes, it's not complicated. It's not to be the best version. It could be to know love, to be happy, to be joyful, to have your best experience, just to love your children because you might not have loved them in another lifetime. They all think, I've got to make $1 million, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do the other. No, 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 no. It's much more simpler. As human beings, we're complicating our lifetimes. So most of it is come from a place of love in everything you do.
Yes.
Feel love, be love. But the wisdom that comes is simple. So if you're coming to work out, you want to come and have a session, you think I need to understand I'm going to be the next, Reiki master or whatever, don't come because your answers will disappoint you that it's going to be, you're something simple. You're here to have a very enjoyable experience. That's what you've got to have.
Now, we've both had sessions with Charles at different times, and I must say that our session that we had together, Charles, was absolutely incredible for me.
Yes.
In many ways, it opened up my eyes to that whole hypnotherapy side of healing through you, but the experiences that I had, because I still have the recording of what we went through and the lifetimes and the beings and the environments that I was placed into while I was under hypnosis with you, is something that I will never, ever, ever forget. And there are images and memories that I still have to this day of those different experiences. One was, well, there was quite a few galactic ones. There was an energetic one. There was all these different lifetimes that truly just blew me away. And at the same time, I came off that healing session with you with almost like if there was any type of doubt that I had going into this healing world, into this conscious world of energy and hypnosis and all the things that are available, if there was any doubts that were there before, after the session, there was nothing. And it allowed me to go even deeper into the work that I do now and the spaces and the places that I work in. So thank you so much. The session was incredible. I absolutely loved it. How was your session?
Mine was awesome. I realized I was a lot of different creatures in different lifetimes that I think I was a human once. No, I had done QHHT a few years earlier.
You had.
And it's funny, Charles, when you talk about the different levels, because I feel like at that time I was like just at a level 1, and then I did this one with you and it just went out there, galactic. Like, I was a duck woman and I had a job to get the eggs and, produce or go and, grow these eggs so that the birds growing in them could go and be distributed to the different planets around the world, like around the universe. It was crazy, and you were my duck partner. So... that was one of them, and then it was like, because halfway through you're saying this stuff and you're like, am I making this up? What?
How do you make it up? That's the question.
That's it.
Would your imagination go, I'm going to be a duck person and I'm going to harvest eggs and put them around the planet so these birds can fly with Kebrasca by your side? It doesn't happen. You can't make this stuff up.
No.
Yeah.
And I vividly remember, and I'm just going to share some of the images of some of the things that both Amber and I had while we were in our session. This is a version of the artwork that was created out of the session with Charles and I, where it was a meeting of galactic beings from all over the universe deciding what's happening to the different planets at different times. This is a planetary craft, which was using the sun to travel through, that we were a part of. This is how the energy was with regards to integrating into different planets, and that was the type of being. That was me.
Oh, look at you! You're pretty
in like a conscious suit that was interactive with the environment. And then this is Amazon.
And that's a completely different scene. It looks like I'm in a Christmas scene, but I was like in charge of. This was a world. This was a world where the people were elves. It's not Christmas time. It's just covered in snow, and I had to. I managed the bees that pulled in the gold flecks to then help humanity or help the beings with their healing. Like it looks like a simple Christmas scene, but I tell you, it's not.
And when you're in those sessions, especially for me, Charles, when we were in there, the f- my voice changed when we were doing different lifetimes.
Yes.
The energy within me also changed. I vividly remember some being stronger than others.
Yes.
But just the experience of being in there as that lifetime was just something I wasn't ready for, and it was incredible to have that lasting memory, both while you're there and also still with me many months, years later. I think
Yeah,
it's
it's
profound.
it's very special because some people. I had one beautiful woman. She was because all of your senses are engaged, and
Yes.
she was in London in the '60s, and she goes, "Hold on a minute, Charles. I'm just going to go and get a souvlaki at this souvlaki place." Okay, that's fine. You go and get your. She took a bite of the souvlaki. It's like, all right, I'm going to move you to an important day, and she says, "No, no, 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 no. I just need to take another bite because this is one of the best souvlakis I've ever had in my life." And that's what happens. All of your senses are engaged. So your taste, your touch, your smell, your feeling, all of that stuff, and your sight, they're all engaged. Now, everybody's at different levels. So it just depends on where you are in your spiritual journey as to what your higher self will deem appropriate to show you. It's not going to show you something that you're not able to integrate. So, for example, if somebody's just beginning a spiritual journey, it might show them a lifetime as a witch. It might show them a lifetime as a wizard or something like that. But it might not show them a multi-dimensional being on another realm creating crystals or stuff like that, because that might be too much for them to comprehend and integrate.
Right.
But as you start doing more and more and more, the universe wants to show you. I've had some amazing spiritual people that have had amazing lifetimes. And I mean, I could talk for hours about it. But yeah, at your level, depending on where you're at with your spiritual journey, that's what it'll show you. It'll keep it to a point that it might push you a little bit, but not too much that you can't comprehend it.
Yeah.
Now, these sessions that you do with QHHT obviously can go anywhere from 5 hours to 9 plus, right? What is it that you do personally to prepare yourself to go on that journey with someone? Because you're fully present, you're guiding them, you're in that room with them. What is it that you do to really put yourself and your clients in that space?
That's a really good question. So before the clients come, about an hour before the clients come, I'm actually playing some music on the stereo. It's the I Am meditation by Wayne Dyer. So there's no words to it. It's just the music. But what I find, I actually play it twice. It cleanses the energy of the space. It sets a vibrational tone. So I do that. I'll burn some incense. I always work with candles. So you can see I've got candles on in the corner.
Yes.
The candles are always burning when I'm doing any session at all, because I always have to work with the light. The next thing I will do is meditate. I will connect to the universe, plus I'll also connect with Mother Earth. And I'm asking for the client to have the most amazing session, because the higher self is going to come through, and I just want the place to be at a nice, even calm. So I'll offer them, tea or coffee to start off with. There's blankets. Make yourself comfortable. Lie on the couch if you want to before we, get yourself comfortable, because you're investing in a session that we want the best returns for.
Yeah.
So for me, it's about the meditation beforehand. I'm mentally preparing myself all week for this session, because in my head sometimes it's like, oh my goodness gracious me, I've got a QHHT. It's a whole block of day gone. As soon as you start the session, it doesn't become that anymore. It becomes, let's go, bit by bit by bit. So it's a mental game for me, but I'm holding space and I'm just trying to guide the conversation so that the clients can sort of help put some of the puzzle pieces together themselves, and then we go from there. It's very special.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, Charles, do there's some people that say that past lives and, in time would be like, that happened in the past. That happened as a human in the past. But as we know, things can happen simultaneously and also in other dimensions. Does that come into play? I feel it did with Kebrasca and I in our
Totally.
Sessions that we
Totally
had,
did.
because I feel like some of those were actually happening at this time, but in another place, dimension. Is that very common?
Very common. So I've got to be pretty switched on. So it's quite complex. So while you're in hypnosis, I have a recorder, so I'm recording everything. I've got to think of questions to throw at you, to throw at your higher self, so that you can tell me what you're seeing, what you're doing. I'm also writing it down, because I had one situation where the recorder failed. And it's like, oh, goodness gracious me, I couldn't tell this person. I could remember bits. So it's like, so I'm writing down what you're telling me, formulating a question and listening, and I'm actually visualizing the same thing. It's quite common for people like yourselves that are highly spiritually evolved to see their multidimensional lives playing out at the same time. So if they're doing a 3D existence on this planet, you'll know that there's going to be a timeline where they'll come to their death. If I go out to the sky or I go out to the universes, I'm never taking you to your death because it doesn't exist. It doesn't happen because that's happening concurrently to you living as Amber and you living as Kebrasca. So this is playing out just on a different dimension. So this is why we say we're multi-dimensional beings.
Yes.
Because we're not just living this one experience, we're living multiple experiences. Now, the other aspect of that is, and this is another concept, that you can split your soul. If you've read Dr. Michael Newton's books, you can split your soul and have two physical incarnations on the planet at the same time. You can actually have multiple, so that you can accelerate your soul's development. So, it takes 100 years to learn a life lesson, and some people are very impatient. If they're old souls, they want to get through it, so they'll split their souls. So you can actually have multiple, same souls, but in multiple bodies on the planet at the same time.
Wow. I haven't read that book, Charles. What's the name of that book?
It's The Journey of the Soul.
Journey of the Soul.
It's the most amazing book. And he does the hypnosis from when you've passed away to when you're born. He does that in between part. Because that's fascinating.
Yes,
so I'm
yes.
lucky that I take people to their death. How do you feel? I'm so light. I'm free. It's like, where are you going? I'm just going home. It feels so good to be out of that silly meat suit. All of that stuff. That's what they call it. So you can be a multi-dimensional being. You can have two physical incarnations on this planet. You can be someone on another planet. And your soul is working in other dimensional beings, other dimensional areas as well.
Have you noticed, Charles, because during your sessions you ask a lot of questions that come up both from questions from the person, from your client, and then also the ones that you work on together. Have you noticed a change over the years in the questioning that that people are wanting to know about themselves or their past lives or the world and the state that we're in, all those kinds of things? Have you noticed changes over the years?
Yeah. People are getting more spiritually aware. So at the start, it was like, why did I marry Johnny? Why did I have this child here? Why did I do that? Does that make sense? It's all of that sort of stuff. That fascinates me too, because you can find out, you've had 100 lifetimes together, so the energy is attracting each other. What they're going now for is, okay, what do I need to do to help more? How can I be of more service to the planet? How can I, is my purpose to do this and this and this on this planet to help? So the higher self will come in and say, you're a light worker. I had one lady, her job was to work out light in people and how to read light quotients in people. And that was a brand new concept to me. I said, how does that work? Just quickly tell me. And I said, everybody carries light inside them. But if you picture a scale of 1 to 10, 10 never exists. You can never get to 10. Because trust me, I asked, how do I get to 10? I said, you can't. Don't worry about it.
Not on this planet.
Yes, exactly. But they said to me, picture it like this. People that are suffering with severe depression and anxiety or schizophrenic, there'll be a 2 because the light is very dim. They're not, doing it too well. The people that are a little bit odd, like they're depressed, but they can function in life, they'll be a 4. Those that are joyous and happy, all of that sort of stuff, they're a 6 or an 8. So it was really interesting to learn about light, which is why I always talk about the light body when I do the healing.
Yes.
How much light do they have? How can we infuse more light through them to lift them up? And that's what this woman's job was. So this is where I'm going with, people are asking questions about, how can I assist more? How can I do more? Am I doing what I need to do to make society and the planet a better place? Am I helping raise consciousness? And that's what I'm finding. More and more people are looking at that aspect now. I'm one, but I'm a part of many.
Yeah.
How do I help rise many?
Yeah, that's awesome, eh? To know that that's actually a big shift
that's why I love
that
this,
people are
Kebrasca,
coming to.
because I get pushed every time I do this, and it's like, whoa, concept I didn't even consider. Now my mind's got to go and look at that, I know we come from the spark of the creator, but to have it measured in terms like that, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And this woman knew she was a light bearer. She knew she had to carry the light. She knew she had to infuse other people's light. How do I do that? And it can be as simple as, love, walk through the shopping centres. People will feel your energy. People will feel your light. That will lift them up. That's all. See how simple it is?
Yes.
It doesn't have to be hard work.
No,
It doesn't have to be,
totally.
you got to teach the meditation. No, no, no. Go for a walk up and down the street. Go for a walk at your local supermarket. People will take your energy, and that's all we need you to do.
And that's the thing. I feel like we make things too complicated
Oh,
in
we
this
do.
this spiritual world. You know, we think, oh, we have to be like a guru. We have to be perfect all the time. We have to have the most perfect meditations and all of that all of the time. And I think it stops a lot of people from moving forward. Instead of like when you just break it down, you can just do really simple things.
And that's the key. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Life is not complicated. And that's the biggest lesson in, nearly 8 years doing QHHT. That's the biggest thing I've taken from this. Keep your life simple. Don't complicate it. Don't worry about silly things you can't change. Have joy every day. Have joy in everything you do every day and create the best life for yourself. Don't worry about external influences and stuff like that. Just do you and you'll have the most amazing experience.
So you've been doing QHHT, as you said, for 8 years, and a lot of the things that Dolores Cannon did, she talks about the new earth. Have you come across that, experienced that in your sessions? Is that a thing? Can we look forward to it, or is it just a way of thinking?
That's a really good question. And I think it's a way of thinking more so than we're going to have a split. You're going to go, nah. The light. So that lady, that was the light. This is how the new earth happened. And I said to her, so what's the purpose of the light? And she says, well, we want people to take their consciousness to a higher level, and that could be considered new earth, okay? She said, at the moment, though, because the consciousness and the light quotient in a lot of people is too heavy, we actually have to work out, there's got to be like a little line where we cut them off. So she said, if we're trying to help ones and twos and they're not coming along, we have to say, okay, well, this is great, but this is your experience now. Okay, so these are the ones that are always going to be in trauma or grief or sadness, whatever. Okay, old earth. Those that are 3 or 4s, we can still work with and raise their light quotient to get them up to a higher way of being, a more positive outlook on life, and a more positive outlook on how can I help more, how can I do more. That's the new earth, coming from a place of love. And that's what she said. She said the light is the most important part of us working out where we're going to fit vibrationally on the planet. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't watch the news anymore. I don't watch TV. I don't watch anything that brings me down and keeps the vibration low. So I find myself climbing higher because things that worry everyday people, I don't worry about because I don't see it. I don't have to participate.
Yep.
And that's what we're trying to do. So by me staying in a nice, positive, light environment, I'm helping others lift theirs up. Giving them different ways of looking at it. So to answer your question, the new earth for me is about how can I help people raise their vibrations so that the old ways of thinking, the old ways of being, old belief systems are no longer affecting them in this lifetime.
It's almost that the new earth is actually the new earth inside yourself first, that then gets projected into the 3D outside of your physical earth. But if you don't have this one right, then everything around you is going to be very different in that respect.
Exactly.
As well. Yeah, wow.
If you can't do this, you can't do anything else.
Correct. Yeah,
And
wow.
if we think of ourselves as a universe,
Yes.
then we can raise our own vibrations to then, make this universe as good as it can be, as high vibe as it can be, to help the other universes.
And see, perfect words, Amber, perfect words. I always say to my clients come for clairvoyant healings, all that sort of stuff. They get a lecture. And I say, we live in a universe. We are in the universe. And you look at me, I'm 5 foot something. I'm insignificant when you go into the multiverse. You can't see me. Our cells, our microorganisms inside us are our universe. We've really got to watch how we talk to them, how we think about them.
Yes.
So I say to them, if you're saying to yourself, I'm not good enough, well, you just told this whole thing here and the billions of cells inside it, we're not good enough, we're going to try harder. And it just drops your vibration. You've got to be going, you know what, I'm trying as hard as I can every day and I'm doing really well.
Yeah.
Even if sometimes it's a struggle, I'm doing it. Change the perception, change the look. I get up every day and say, my body is a good body, my body is a healthy body, my body is always well. You don't get sick because we're telling the body, we're good, we're healthy, we're well, let's go.
Yeah. Would you say that that's one of your, simplest and daily rituals that you practice every day, is to wake up with that type of attitude to reinforce that kind of level of energy that you want to have for that particular day and for the rest of the week?
I do that every day. Every day, get up, and if I feel a niggle, it's like, no, I'm not accepting that. My body's a good body. My body's a healthy body. My body's always well. And I'll say that 3 or 4 times over. Do you know what I mean? Or if somebody coughs around me, it's like, I'm not accepting that either. That's not for me. It's not for this body.
Yep.
The other thing that I do is I try and make myself present.
What
Even
does
if
that
it's just for
mean?
5 minutes, I watch the clouds. I watch the birds in the trees. I pay it all attention. It is all consciousness.
Yes.
When you pay it attention, it's paying you attention. And it's like, hi, trees. In my head, I'm like, hi, trees. Thanks for the oxygen. Hi, birds. And then when the birds are chirping in the morning,
Yeah, I love that.
think of it. We slept overnight. The birds are telling us what happened. We don't understand it. But their chirping comes into our subconscious field. It's telling us what happened. So presence. Make yourself present. Control the mind. Don't go to next week. Don't go to next Thursday. What are the clouds doing today? Can you see the moon during the day? What's happening across the road? You know, with there's birds in the tree. What is it? Presence. Make yourself present. And that helps anybody that's suffering with depression and anxiety because you're going to start controlling it.
Yes, totally
And that's,
agree.
I feel like that's the trouble with society right now, right? Because the first thing that people do when they wake up is go on their phone.
Look
So
at
they're
the
not
phone.
present. They're looking at social media and they're looking at things that are not even real, or the news or whatever it is, and they're not paying attention to what is actually real, which is everything out there. Yeah.
Correct. Go and look at the stars in the sky and watch them. I say to my customers, because I can connect, and I say to my customers, do you ever go and look at the stars in the sky? She goes, yeah, all the time. I said, so when they're blinking, they're sending you stuff. They're transmitting energy and information to you. Pay it attention. So, yeah, I'm a very big believer of turn the devices off because it's really
100%.
affecting your nervous system.
Yeah.
Go and spend 10 minutes, half an hour, if you can, a day being present, and then that'll change your life.
Totally agree. There was a great quote that I put out on social this week that I saw, which was about we spend more time charging our devices than we do charging ourselves. And I truly believe that we, as you're saying, we need to spend way more time focusing and giving ourselves self-love and attention and presence so that we actually do the work to keep
Correct.
ourselves alive and high vibe at the same time.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You go and see a tree in a park, a really big tree. You think, okay, how old are you? 300-400 years. You've got wisdom.
Yes.
You've seen changes in this planet. I'm only here for 100 years, if that. Tell me your wisdom. So I go and lean up against a tree. My poor husband, he sees me go and hug trees in the botanical garden.
That's me.
And I can feel a heartbeat. And it's like, yes, tree, let's do this. And when I go for a walk, sometimes I'll just high five the leaves. Yes, hello, gotcha. Thanks for your energy, whatever it is. Because it's being present, and the consciousness of that tree feels me and I'm feeling it, and we're connecting. And it's just about gratitude. It's being grateful for what you're providing for me and what I'm providing for you. So yeah, very special.
We had an
Disconnect.
experience like that in Japan recently.
Oh,
we
yeah.
we
Phenomenal.
we went. It was interesting actually because we were supposed to go to an amusement park, but then they refunded our money because the amusement park was closed that day. And so had a free day, and we were like, "What are we going to do?" And this was our first day in Japan, so we booked a tour out to Mount Fuji.
Yes.
And we were like, okay, let's do this now. And then like the nature there was just so beautiful and pure. And we went up this mountain, and everyone was going to the pagoda and the temple, and we were like, no, we want to actually, we were drawn to sit on the earth and do some grounding. And then there were like insects and like big bees and butterflies
And lizards.
and lizards.
They all came surrounding us while we were doing this meditation up on the top of this hill. While everyone's taking photos, we were giving energy back to the space, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
And see, the animals wanted to participate. They could feel your vibration. They could feel your consciousness. It's like, wow, these humans have got really high levels of consciousness, and they're actually appreciating what's around them. We're going to come and participate.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sat there for ages, and then we did another grounding. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we were like, oh, we better get back to
better get in the bus.
back to the bus.
And we were like, whoa, this is cool.
I love it. I love it. But that's powerful stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a great experience and an amazing trip. Going to Japan was just phenomenal. Like, absolutely loved it. Now, Charles, you've been practicing within multiple modalities for many, many years, but you've also grown a substantial, successful business on the side of that as well to kind of bring everything together. How did that become the vehicle that you wanted to have alongside your practice, and how have you found that working business and then doing healings and then business and healings? How have you found managing that?
They complement each other. So I looked at it like this. I'm going to offer these things, but sometimes people were not able to find me because, to start the business, it was putting me out there, putting me at the markets. I have to talk my talk.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing sometimes for spiritual workers is to talk the talk. What do you do? Oh, I read tarot. Oh, yeah, you're a freak. Or I see energy. I see this. Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
When you go to, I only did the markets, like you found me at Crown Casino Markets, and we used to do the Buller Market. It was a really good way for me to put my services out there because I'm not going to read in a market environment because there's too much energy going on.
Yeah, true.
I was selling my products at a really reasonable price, so people would come and talk. What do you do? How do you do? So it was a really good way for me on the business side of it to raise funds, but also to connect with people that allowed me to then have them come to my house and have healings or readings and stuff like that. So they complemented each other. The other aspect of the business was I thought, my history in other jobs was travel. So I was like, okay, I'm connecting with people and people are spiritually aware and they're interested. I might see if anybody wants to go and do a tour overseas. So I've taken 2 groups to India, group to Egypt. We rented the Grand Pyramid in Egypt. You could rent it. Did you know you could rent the Grand Pyramid?
No.
And we meditated in there, 12 of us, with some Egyptian official, because they've got the keys and they have to let you in. And he's going, oh, what are you lot doing? Like, we're just going to meditate. We're just going to do a few ohms in the pyramid. But see, this is aspects of the business that allowed me to do more. Everything has a place. Everything is a piece of the puzzle.
Yes.
So the travel, I haven't done the travel for a few years, but it will come back. The market has been great. Done that for 9.5 years, and I'm actually going to take a little bit of a break. My business partner's still going to do it. I'm going to take a little bit of a break from that so I can do some training for other people that want to do energy training or
nice.
Do more healings on the weekend, whatever. So everything had a place. Everything had a purpose. Even when I started with clairvoyant healing and people didn't know what that was. It's like, this is not going to work too well. How do I make this work? And I thought, well, people love readings. So I went and reawakened my knowledge in tarot. So then I offered tarot and everybody started to come through the front door. I was like, oh, this is interesting. So then what I did was anybody that booked an hour's tarot got a free half-an-hour energy healing.
Oh, nice.
And what that did was it's like, I like the way I feel. It's like you wait till you do an hour next time, so you're going to feel even better.
Yes.
And that really helped me build up the brand, build up the confidence in, the readings or the healings or the product. And we always stood behind our product. So we used to sell salt lamps like 8 years ago. And I haven't stocked them for 8 years, but I still supply people with globes and cables because we're supporting them. We're making sure that they've got that support wherever we do and whatever we do. So it was very important to have both sides, the business side and the spiritual side. They go very well together. And I look at it like this. The business aspect allowed me to do more. It allowed me to do more training for me. It allowed me to raise my funds so I could go and do QHHT level 2 in England, or I could go and do Pelloa levels 1, 2, and 3. So it worked hand in hand for us. And my business partner was really mainly interested in the retail side, which was great. That allowed me to concentrate on the other aspects.
So Charles,
It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time with social media and websites. And it's like, I sometimes work out I don't have enough time in the day.
No, we know all about that.
Yeah.
But tell us about the pyramids. Like, what did you feel?
That was amazing. See, the universe works in really mysterious ways. And we were supposed to do the pyramids. We were on I think it was a 12-day tour of Egypt. We were supposed to do them on day 2. So we get there at, 5 o'clock in the morning, and there's 3 government officials that need to turn up. 1 failed to show up. And it's like the tour guide, because he was with us for the 12 days, he goes, I'm so sorry, this is not happening today. And we've all gone, that's okay, it'll happen when it needs to happen. The universe knows what we need, and it's just not today. He said, what's wrong with you lot? He goes, I had an American tour group last week, and the same thing happened to them, and they went ballistic. And it's like, no. The universe knows when it needs to happen. So we've done this whole amazing tour. We started off in, Cairo, Giza, Luxor, Abu Simbel. And then we were in Aswan. He said to the tour guide, said to us, we're going to take you to a private beach on the Nile, and I want you all to go and bathe and swim in the beach. He goes, there's no crocodiles. This is where all the locals go. It's right near the Sudanese border. So we went swimming there. And he goes, this is what a lot of people used to do before they'd go into the pyramid. So, of course, we've all cleansed our bodies and energy. Wow. And then the next day we were flying back to Cairo, and that was the day after we had the pyramid tour. So we just got into this pyramid. Some of the girls bought crystals, some bought oracle cards, and we all sat in a circle in the king's chamber. And we all just, I said, come on, let's just breathe a little bit. So we did some breathing, and then we just did some ohms, some chanting, some ohms. I was so nervous that the roof of the pyramid was going to explode because the energy was so intense. The man in the corner from the government was going, oh my God, what's going on here? So that was fun. So we sat there and we just did this, and we did it for like 15 minutes. It wasn't long. And then all of a sudden I was blessed that some energy was enabling me to channel messages for every particular person on the tour, but telling them something. Even the tour guide in Egyptian, like I wasn't talking Egyptian, I was talking English, but he got the message. And he goes, that was amazing. What did you do? It's like, I don't know what we did, but it needed to be done.
Yeah.
Some of the girls were crying, and it's like, are you upset? No. These are happy tears. I'm seeing things that I'd never seen. I'm seeing my past lives come up here. So it was a very, very surreal yet amazing experience. And the universe knew that we needed to have it on a full moon day. It was 25 degrees outside at 5 o'clock in the morning, and it was life-changing.
Wow.
Well, when you have
Sign
that
us up.
travel come up, I was just going to say, we're definitely coming.
We're going with you, Charles.
The next one, I'm going to go to a place where all the healers went to, and I didn't do that in this first place. So we're going to go to where the healers go. Trust me, I did it with the tour guide. He snuck us into all of these temples that were closed. We got Tutankhamun's tomb to ourselves. It was life-changing. It was amazing.
Oh, we're keen. Yeah, sign us up. Let us know when that happens. We're definitely going to go.
We're there. Yeah.
Now, Charles, if you could teach the whole world like one thing or one message around this conscious creation or connection that we have, what do you think that would be?
Gratitude. People don't practice enough gratitude. We've got everything. We're so lucky in this country that we have everything. And I've got one of my beautiful friends who goes, I'm so grateful that I've got a flushable toilet. Yes, because there's a lot of countries in the world that don't have that. Right. And then they've got disease and stuff like that. I'd like everybody just to be grateful for what they have. And they might not have everything, but be grateful for what you do have. Because you're putting out a message to the universe that I'm grateful for where my life is at. I'm grateful for the experience I'm having, but I'm open to more. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So just have gratitude in, like, I'm grateful for you two for allowing me to do this today because it puts me out there. And that's, if you're grateful for what you have, I'm not taking anything for granted. Nothing can be taken for, everything is, I'm grateful for everything. So if everybody could just work out what they're grateful for every day, wow, this place would change. The planet would change dramatically.
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
Absolutely.
So, Charles, what's next for Amanti Moon? What have you got coming up? You said you're going to do some training.
Yes. So I teach intuitive tarot. So I've got a one-day class coming. So I'm the type of person, I want to train it, but I've got to do it by how I feel. So that's why I do intuitive tarot. So I just say to people, buy yourself a deck of cards, and then I'm going to come and teach you how to read them. So we do that on the 21st of June this year. I'm about to start Palawa 1 and 2 training. That's going to be over a weekend in July or August. And I'll also start for customers the 7 weeks. So the class that the girl said I was going to fail, 10 years down the track, I've actually become the only teacher in Australia to teach it. So I'll be teaching that from July through to August, 1 night a week for 2 hours. So it's called You Are Clairvoyant, and it was created by a beautiful soul called Belinda Gross. I'm very grateful for her coming into my world. And I said to her, I want to do the teacher training for this because I see value in this. I see you've helped me so much come from nothing to where I am today and seeing so much more. And if I can share that with other people, let's go.
And Charles, if people wanted to sign up for those offerings that you're doing throughout that time, do they visit your website? Do they visit you on Instagram? What's the best way to get in touch?
Instagram would be the best, Kebrasca. So if they go to Amanti Moon on Instagram, they'll see, I've just posted up, I think it was last week, the tarot class, and the details are there. They can always just message me. And I'm going to place up this week and then early next week the clairvoyant healing class, You Are Clairvoyant, and the Palawa.
Charles, what is, just if you want to touch a little bit on Palawa, what's Palawa?
Wow. Palawa is next level healing. It's done behind me in this little healing room. I only have the candles on. We can have no smells in the room. There's no music in the room. I need to make this experience as pure as possible. So everything that's in that room, crystals, sigils, pictures, colors, everything gets decommissioned for the 2 hours. And I am pulling stuff out of people. I'm throwing stuff into people. It's the word Palawa means angelic shift in consciousness. So I say to people, if you're stuck in life, come for a Palawa. Cleans up the energy beautifully, rebalances your auric fields and your chakras, but then it wants to push you. It's going to make you uncomfortable and it's going to push you to the next level. So I've had people quit jobs after Palawa. I've had people in relationships after Palawa. I've had people, move into state after Palawa. And that's just one. And you think, wow, it's a very, very powerful modality. I had a lady, she had it 7 years ago, and she had another one this last week. She goes, it's just as powerful now as it was then. And she could see things, because I'm not supposed to tell people what I might see. So I limit what I do with that. But she could see things. And I said to them, okay, what did that mean for you? How did that feel? She goes, I'm ready to go to the next level. So it's like Moldavite. It's like a healing version of Moldavite. It really wants to push you through barriers. So if I find people are struggling in life, I'm going to say, if you're ready and you're going to take a chance, let's do some Palawa. It's very out there, very high energy. If I call it my Rolls Royce, very rarely would I offer it to a very first time customer, because they've got to be prepared and ready to deal with what will come.
Yeah, makes
so
sense.
if they're aware of what the Palawa can do, let's go. If they're not, I'll start off softer with the clairvoyant healing, balance them, cleanse them, make them feel good about themselves. Then I'll say, contemplate it for the future.
Yeah. Oh, we might be contemplating it in the near future, Charles. I think someone needs to. We probably both need to do a Palawa, actually.
I was already going, yep, that's me.
That's Kebrasca straight away.
Yes, it's great. I love it. I love it.
All right. Well, we're on to the bonus rapid fire round.
Oh, rapids.
Rapid fire. Here we go.
Okay, Charles. Just whatever the first thing that comes to your head. Moon rituals or sunrise meditations?
Sunrise meditation.
Favorite crystal you're working with right now?
Selenite.
Oh, nice. One word to describe your energy today.
Hyper.
Sage or Palo Santo?
Sage.
Spirit animal or guide you feel closest to at the moment?
Universe.
Perfect.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Nice.
That's brilliant. Charles, look, that brings us to the end of our interview with you, but I just wanted to say on behalf of both Amber and myself, thank you so much, my friend, for giving us your time, your energy, your insights into your world of QHHT, Amanti Moon, and everything else. Please, this will not be the last time that we have you on our show. We'd love to have you back to talk more about your worlds and everything you're in after your teaching is done. And when you do have those trips coming up, by all means, make us 1 and 2.
Yeah.
We'd love to be there.
It's so much fun. We have a lot of fun with those trips.
I bet.
Definitely.
Yes, thank you so much, Charles. We hope you enjoy your evening, and we will no doubt be seeing you very, very soon.
And
Look forward to it.
if you want to see or visit any of Amanti Moon's or Charles in person, he has his Instagram page, which we're showing here, which is Amanti_Moon on Instagram, or you can visit his website, which is amantimoon.com.au. There's a lot of offerings on there. He's a fantastic, amazing healer. We recommend you go and have a Palawata session, a QHHT session, or just reach out to him with any questions that you might have around that side of things. That was awesome. That was like amazing. An amazing interview with Charles. Thank you so
Charles.
much.
Thank you.
We're just going to put our outro music on.
Oh, you didn't want to say anything else?
Oh, no.
You wanted to say something. No?
That was amazing. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
We will. Thank you so much.